Matt Gaetz just basically destroyed one of the unelected bureaucrats from the ATF for overreach.
The Nonpartisan Government Accountability Office issues a report in June of 2016, Firearms Data. The ATF did not always comply with the Appropriations Act restriction and should better adhere to its policies. Mr. Wilcox, you're the witness the Democrats have invited here today. Are you familiar with that report?
I am.
And does the fact that the ATF broke the law concern you?
The report, I believe, supported ATF's action in cataloging records to stop crime.
I'll read from it. It says, a technical defect allows ATF agents to access data, including purchaser data, beyond what ATF policy permits. Do you take any umbrage with that conclusion?
ATF has been collecting out-of-business records pursuant to a law signed by Ronald Reagan, and President Trump digitized more records than any other president.
I don't care who did it. I'm just worried about the impact on my citizens. And I would acknowledge there may be Republican presidents who didn't do enough in the 80s to protect our gun rights. But on this finding, the ATF had to delete 252 million records, didn't they?
So this is a tool that's helped solve 50% of crime.
Wait. Did they have to delete 252 million records?
What I know about this tool is that it's a
That's not what I'm
crime-fighting
asking
tool.
you. Did they have to delete? You said you're aware of the report. Is that conclusion correct? They had to delete 252 million records.
I'm not aware of that line, but what I'm aware
Okay.
of is the tool,
Well,
crime-fighting tool.
I'll represent to you that that's what had to happen. The fact that the government collected 252 million records that was beyond the law, beyond policy, never approved according not to me, not to my fellow Republicans, but to the GAO. Should that be concerning to us, that scope of records being collected?
ATF's collection of out-of-business records was fully compliant with the law.
That's not what the GAO said, so you disagree with the GAO report.
Well, there's 2 points they made. One is the collection of out-of-business paper records that FFLs keep. The second piece was the collection of electronic records that FFLs keep. And what the GAO said was the electronic records were not being converted sufficiently. And that's
Right.
what ATF
So that's why they
fixed
had to delete
become
them,
in compliance with the law.
Because they had gone beyond their authority. You see, that's the concern of my constituents. When they go beyond their authority, and you may find those things virtuous, but no one elected you. They elected us to make the laws, and when we make the laws and they don't follow them, then people's rights get diminished. Another area is this issue of the arm braces. Now, in Mr. Wilcox's testimony, he says that an arm brace makes a weapon more powerful. Mr. Bosco, you know a lot about arm braces, don't you?
I do.
Do arm braces make firearms more powerful?
They do not. They do not.
Does it concern you that the witness that the Democrats brought would make such a claim that is obviously disproven by any utilization of those arm braces?
I hope that my testimony today can help everyone here understand that the brace does nothing to make the weapon any more dangerous than it already is.
So this is what's going on with Matt Gaetz and this interaction between him and the ATF agent. Okay, so in order to understand this, you have to understand it, like, there's so many different ways a lot of these three-letter organizations that function as arms of the federal government massively overreach, okay? And one of the ways that the ATF has done this, number one, by getting way too much data and information that while legally it was available for them to get, they don't have authority to get, okay? If that makes sense. They don't have the authority to get it even though it's technically legal. So they use this information to basically attempt to erode the Second Amendment rights of Americans, whereas you had this one ATF situation in which they made an accessory for weapons illegal that had been legal for, I believe it was like decades, and then basically making anybody that owned this accessory, able to be charged with a felony. So this is what they did. And there was another hearing where they exposed all of that stuff. So the bottom line is, the bigger picture is that there are all of these three-letter agencies full of unelected bureaucrats. You have to understand that these people were not elected by anybody. And the extension as arms of the federal government to massively overreach into the lives of private citizens in order to undermine their Second Amendment rights. That is what Matt Gaetz is getting at here. These are the things that should make you very upset as an American citizen. And I believe, honestly, to tell you the truth, I believe that these are not things that are left or right. These are things that are about government overreach.